Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a community cast sent in by Afan, and it's a cool one. So he's playing as the Empire, and he's against the High Elves. And so both of these players have actually sort of defied the meta slightly, which I think is pretty damn cool. You know, I've shown a lot of battles where I've played the Empire, and I've just brought a couple of Hellblaster volley guns against the High Elves and just shredded, you know, Phoenix Guard and Swordmasters, and it's just, you know, pretty horrific for the High Elves, to be honest. But now people are leaning more towards very wide High Elf armies. So this Empire player, Afan, has done the same. So you can see he's got a ton of spearmen with shields and swordsmen in his front line. So pretty damn cool. Why say that? Only a couple of swordsmen, mostly spearmen with shields. But anyway, he's gone very wide. He has two handgunners in the back for armor piercing if he needs it, knowing that it can still, you know, take out Phoenix Guard and Swordmasters if they turn up. You know, that's fine. He also has a Jade Wizard to heal up all of his cav. He has a lot of cavalry. He has Empire Knights here, another one on that side, another one on this side, and he has Demigryph Knights with halberds for taking out opposing cavalry, and the Royal Outdoor Gryphites as well on this side, and they're backed up by an Archlector. So the Archlector has some fantastic buffs for his unit, so we'll be able to make great use out of the cavalry nearby, which I really like. I think this is really cool. So healing all this stuff up and putting up their melee attack and, you know, giving damage negation, there's a lot of stuff you can do to make great use out of this cavalry. Even just Empire Knights that are, you know, fairly low range cavalry, they can get a lot of work done. So it's pretty cool. So the High Elf player here, he's completely avoided the trap of bringing elite units against the Empire. So you see he's got, I think it's 5 units of archers, which is pretty terrifying. They'll be able to get rid of artillery crews and handgunners in seconds. Pretty brutal. But, you know, against an entirely shielded force and then a load of heavy armor in the back, you know, with the cavalry, it's only really the handgunners that are going to be good targets for them. But they're very valuable targets. He's also got a ton of spearmen with shields in the front line, so again, just avoid that missile fire and avoid giving an expensive target. Also, further back, he's got, I think it's 4 white lines of strays, so really good armor piercing. So the mixture of anti-large and armor piercing is going to help against Empire cavalry. And, well, and, you know, great swords and state troops, they're all going to have a lot of trouble punching through this. And they're backed up by a Lawmaster of Hoeth. I really like this as a spellcaster choice because he's very resilient, but he does have Earthblood, he does have Spirit Leech, he does have Harmonic Convergence. He's got some great utility there, but he's also really hard to snipe. He's going to be very difficult to kill very quickly. So that's great. So nice, durable spellcaster. And he's also got a prince. So these guys are both actually on foot. So he does not want to give a big target or, you know, let anti-large anything deal with these guys. You know, cannons won't be able to hit him very well. So he's keeping these guys totally safe. And also, just you know, just as a bit of flair, he's got a Tyrannoc Chariot. I think this is actually a good pick, because if you are going to get bogged down by a ton of infantry, with all this anti-large and armor piercing, any cavalry that gets in the front line to try and deal with a Tyrannoc Chariot is going to get butchered. So the Tyrannoc Chariot will just run up and down the line, you know, helping all this stuff out. It's going to be great. I think this is a nice pick on both sides, to be honest. This is both incredibly formidable armies and very wide. So we're going to speed things up, finally, and yeah, we're going to see what happens. So obviously, all the state troops are going to move in to try and pin this stuff down, but it looks like the High Elf player is just trying to punch through with everything. He's got, you know, archers firing where he can, and the white lines are charging in too, so he's just trying to overwhelm this front line, but it will leave his back line exposed, and as you can see, all the cavalry is moving around the outsides. So this is dangerous for the archers. The archers could get picked off, but you can see the archers are already getting a ton of damage into the handgunners. The handgunners have to retreat here. Luckily, there is some cover from the trees, but this is not a fight you want to be in. So the handgunners are going to have to wait this out for a while, you know, let the cavalry do their job. So that's a bit of a pity. Definitely a bit of a pity for the handgunners. But anyway, you can see the Empire Knights charging in. They're getting intercepted by the White Lions, and actually these Spearmen pulled back, so he can make a tighter blob. So the Spearmen are chasing, but this is actually a very good defensive move by the High Elf player. And here you can see the cavalry is getting in the back line, and Spearmen and the armor-piercing White Lions are all charging in. Amazingly, some swordsmen did manage to sneak around the back as well, but that front line has been punctured here, so suddenly there's a lot of spare units left. Amazingly, there are some archers in the front line. That was a bit of a miss micro, but when you've got armies this big and so much stuff happening, it can happen, you know. I'm not going to hold that against him. So you can see the archers are getting pretty much wiped out here, which is fantastic for the Empire, but there's still some units here. There's still some more archers. Is that them there? Nope, that's Demigryph Knights, apparently. It's hard to tell what's going on. I mean, look at this. There's stuff everywhere. So, anyway, the cavalry doing a fine job taking out the archers. One unit is shattered. That is nice. That is a lot of ammunition that can be doing a lot of damage. Handgunners now starting to fire into the White Lions, so that's pretty good. But the Prince is, you know, running around in the back line, and now the Lawmaster of Hoth is coming to back him up. And you can see these Demigryph Knights are getting really, really screwed over here. So luckily there are some swordsmen to hold this stuff in place, but there's just so many spears in here. It's not good for the Demigryphs at all. That is really rough. But there's still plenty of stuff in the back. Plenty of cavalry still going. So it's a shame to lose them for really only the one unit of archers and, you know, damaging a couple. It wasn't the best exchange, honestly. The High Elf player adapted to this brilliantly. So, very scary indeed. So he's sending some spearmen just to keep the handgunners away. If he can just keep the handgunners away, then things like the Prince and the Lawmaster are basically going to be invincible. So here you see a Spirit Leech on the Archlector. Definitely good start whittling his health down, but of course there is a Life Mage. And it looks like, yep, Earth Blood has been used on this flank, because this is definitely the stronger flank. You want to keep it going. And rear charges from the Empire Knights is going to help just to crumble this line, and hopefully it means that the Empire can get the advantage here and suddenly have a load of units free to start bogging this stuff down. You also see there is one unit of spearmen held in reserve to keep the handgunners, not the handgunners, to keep the archers safer. But yeah, that's still a juicy target, honestly. A good couple of charges. That's going to do a lot of damage to the archers. I'm not sure the spearmen are going to be able to hold out on their own there. So, still a very juicy target, but there is a lot of pressure elsewhere. Luckily, though, here the state troops have managed to win these fights, just with the help of the Empire Knights charging the back. So that is beautiful. So over here, you can see the spearmen have actually put a lot of pressure on, well, the handgunners, and that's annoying. So more spearmen are coming in that have rallied, try and pin them down, and hopefully this stuff can get some work done. But a lot of archer fire is going to be coming in, because that is some dense fire. But amazingly, the cavalry has managed to get around. The Archlector and the Empire Knights are having to push through infantry here. So again, a beautiful inception by the White Lions. It's going to be tough for the Empire here, I think. So another Spirit Leech. The Archlector is very injured, and these spearmen have managed to bog this stuff down. But luckily, these Demigryphs did return. So they're coming in, getting a nice charge into the back. These White Lions are having to basically just leave these spearmen alone to come and support, which means that this battle is going to last a lot longer again. So there are some more Empire Knights up there that need to get back into the fold at some point. But for now, it looks like, yeah, again, this is a very risky pick. So you can see the Grand Hammer of Sigmar and the Grand Shield of Faith is going to buff all of these units tremendously. I mean, let's see, the Empire Knights, oh, nope, they've just lost that. I was going to see what their melee attack was. It was high, though. So all the archers have been wiped out here, but hold spacebar, you can see all this red. Yeah, everything is surrounded here, which is not good at all. With the Lawmaster and the Prince coming in, suddenly all this cavalry could take a tremendous amount of damage. So you see they're all trying to push out this side, all trying to push out the one side, and they're going to try and get a rear charge on these spearmen to help these spearmen out. So they are forcing their way through. And the Tyrannoc Chariot, all the while, has kind of been over here. It got chased off early and wasn't brought back in, which is pretty great for the Empire, actually. So wasting ammo on swordsmen, absolutely fine. So here, trying to get these rear charges into the spearmen, but so much stuff is bogged down. You can still see all these stray units, and that is not good. That does not bode well, especially if, you know, Royal Altdorf Gryphites to be caught out like this. That is dangerous. You do not want these guys getting killed. Just any stray model that gets stuck in here is going to get wiped out, and you can't heal any models that are dead. So that's not good. But you can see the spearmen are getting absolutely butchered here, which means that these spearmen are suddenly going to be free. And with a nice earth blood on the whole blob, that's going to be really useful. So these spearmen are going to be able to run back this way, and all the cavalry are going to be able to escape through them. So suddenly all these pursuing units are just going to be on spearmen again. So over here you can see more spearmen are trying to get on top of those White Lions, while the cavalry try and escape. But only 11 Empire Knights in that unit. It's pretty damaged. But amazingly, these guys all broke, and there's very few models left, but they managed to survive again, which is very irritating. But help is on the way. The Empire Knights are coming back in. There's a unit that managed to flee, you know, earlier in the other direction. So here we go. Empire Knights charging these archers, and now all of this stuff has to quickly react, because he did not see this coming. So pretty good for the Empire here, you know, to finally wipe out these archers, because now the handgunners have very few threats. You can see this infantry has been scared away by the spearmen and, I assume, some supporting handgunner fire. But this is iffy. Tyrannoc Chariot being able to charge in through this stuff, with the spearmen being able to hold for so damn long, the Tyrannoc Chariot being able to charge through here is going to get a lot of value. So that's a real shame for, you know, this very strong pocket of resistance for the Empire. or strong, you know, compared to what else is going on in the battle, I suppose. But anyway, so Empire Knights still able to just evade all this stuff and chase down the archers. So more archers are over here. You know, only 17 left here. But, I mean, they're not going to last. One more charge and they're going to shatter. I mean, they've just shattered. So, it looks like the archers are dealt with. And now, because the High Elf player has been pulled in so many directions, these little hit and runs with the Empire Cavalry is being able to get some good damage into a variety of units, which is great. So, Tyrannok Chariots, now, having seen the handgunners, you know, firing at it, it's got to get on top of them. So it's charging in. The Empire Knights from over here have managed to run in, and they're going to try and block that charge for the Tyrannok Chariot, but the Tyrannok Chariot is getting some good damage onto the handgunners. And more spearmen are coming in reserve, so there's going to be less stuff to bog down any of the units that might be chasing the chariots around. So that is iffy. And over here, you can see the Empire Spearmen are pretty much run out of steam on this side, but there's a lot of High Elf stuff bogged down, but this is probably the best thing for the High Elf to do. Just wipe these units out and move on. These constant little, you know, straggling units coming in and bogging them down is just allowing the cavalry to get too much value. So wiping these units out is a good thing. Keeping your guys close together is a good thing. Especially while the Tyrannok Chariot is causing a tremendous amount of hassle in the back line. It's keeping these guys free to wipe out all these state troops. Amazingly though, these Empire Knights, being so much healthier than these Spearmen, they are actually going to take the chance and try and run in there, which is pretty great. And god, look at all these units shattered in the back. And, oh, who's that over there? Demigryph Knights, still 6 of them. Amazing. So, here, all this stuff is getting broken, which is pretty superb. This huge amount of cavalry still going. It's very dangerous. The amount of cycle charging they'll be capable of is not something you really want to mess with. So, White Lions are coming in, and, honestly, I mean, they're in the trees, and they have armor piercing, so this looks good. But the Archlector does have some nice buffs. So, the straggling, you know, rubbish, almost dead unit of Empire Knights are going to be chasing the chariot down to make sure he can't come back. And here we go, beautiful charge by all the cavalry. The Altdorf Griffites do cause terror, so the White Lions aren't going to be able to last long against this kind of assault. I mean, if we look, even the Empire Knights, there we go, 52 melee attack. That's pretty wonderful. And now the White Lions have taken enough damage. They don't have martial prowess, so they only have 24 melee defense. So they're just going to get hit time and time again. They've got terrified, and they can just get chased down and shattered pretty easily. And now, more Demigryphs to the rescue. So these Empire troops, they are actually pulling back, which is a very wise move. You don't want to let the High Elf player just wipe out one unit at a time. Frankly, you have the advantage of mobility, so just pulling away and just letting them sit there for a bit. Totally fine, you know, wrap up some more units. Get your units together. Get a nice solid line. Don't let them get caught out one at a time. It was useful before, but now you've got the mobility advantage and you've got all your stuff in the back. All the archers are dead. There's no reason to stay in a fight and pin this stuff down. So, pretty wonderful move just to pull the spearmen away. I mean, it's simple, but it's worthwhile, because suddenly this is spearmen that are going to be available in this fight, and that is vital. So here you can see some more swordsmen are coming back, so they're going to be charging back in. The Empire Knights still in the back, so they're going to have to get a nice rear charge on units. And a load of handgunner fire, trying to deal with these heroes. But it's not looking great, honestly. The very small targets, they are not taking a lot of damage from this. So everything's moving up. Amazingly, they're just gonna, I don't know, say hi to each other before they engage. Good manners here. So they will move in a second. There we go. Told you it'd be a second. So they're moving in, and the spearmen are just going to get completely crushed by all this. But this is a massive, juicy blob. So here you can see the Empire Knights charging in, the Royal Altdorf Griffites charging in, the Archlector charging in, Empire Knights charging in the rear, doing a huge amount of damage, getting them in the back, and all the handgunners are opening fire. So even if these spearmen flee, suddenly it's just more opportunity to shoot into this blob, and there's still plenty of cavalry to keep cycle charging. So the Empire Knights are moving back, the spearmen are going to replace, you know, the Empire Knights in this little avenue, and you see the Demigryph Knights are charging in again, sending some of them flying. More charges coming in, more handgunner fire. So being charged in the rear, being shot by missile attacks, the terror from the Royal Altdorf Griffites, there's suddenly a lot of pressure on this infantry. But they are holding out pretty damn well, you know. All the abilities have been used here. So you can see they actually have the Bane Shield from the Prince that will give extra armor, which is going to be great against the Empire Knights charges, and the missile parry is going to really help you know, shrugging off this handgunner fire. So really good use of the ability there. It's a real clutch move, and it's kept them going. So pretty damn cool. So, we'll see here, Demigryph Knights look like they've pretty much had it, which is a pity. Still a lot of cavalry left, and you see the heroes are going to try and chase down these handgunners. They're going to get a bit secluded though. The infantry is staying put, and they really need to be moving with their heroes. They need the support from that, because now you see Afan here in control of the Empire. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about these guys. You know, the handgunners can just keep running. They're on foot. They're never going to catch. So let's just wipe out this pocket of resistance. Now they don't have the encouragement from their heroes. So big old charge there. Some buffs going. So damage resistance for everybody. And now the Empire Knights are going to charge in as well. So this is pretty brutal. So some units already terrifying, and that's going to start causing a chain reaction. You see leadership is at a premium here. They are all struggling to hold on. So more routing units. You see, the Prince is trying to get in here to stop this happening, but it's too late. This whole pocket has just been crushed. The Lawmaster kind of on his own, but amazingly the Tyrannok Chariot did come back. Kind of missed that, but some Empire Knights were fighting it when it rallied, and then some Spearmen came up, wiped out the Empire Knights, and then the Swordsmen came and wiped out the Spearmen. But the Tyrannok Chariot escaped, and that can get some good value against these units. And also, with the Lawmaster nearby, this is all a bit scary. This can get some good work done. Luckily, the Jade Wizard is on it. He's trying to get the Tyrannok Chariot here. And here, everything is shattered. All of those high elf units have been completely decimated. Actually saying that, a couple of units haven't shattered yet, but they will soon. Yeah, there goes one. And now, the Prince is going to get attacked, so that stand your ground is definitely going to help, but unfortunately, it was too late. If he had that in that engagement, the infantry could have held. Or at least, maybe could have held. It's hard to tell. But getting some good damage now on the Prince. A lot of good cav here. You know, the Royal of Gryphites, great armor piercing. Obviously, the anti-large isn't going to help here, but the Prince is completely overwhelmed. So once again, he's using all his buffs to try and stay alive. And here, the Lawmaster Hoeth, he's basically going to get stuck between a rock and a hard place. You see the handguns move either side. Oh, the Tyrannok Chariot finally got gunned down, so that's good news. And yeah, this is going to go pretty badly. They are going to just shoot the crap out of the Lawmaster, and the Prince is completely overwhelmed here. Completely overwhelmed. He just can't stand up against all of this. He has to be there with some other units of his. He has to have some backup. Obviously, great melee attack when he's got those buffs going, and good melee defense generally. I mean, he's still got martial prowess, so 72 melee defense, and that's without using any abilities. It's pretty crazy, but look at this. He is fighting so much stuff, and none of this stuff is exactly a pushover. So here, Lawmaster, you know, he's just going to get shot at. Infantry are basically feeding him right now. I think you could do with just not bothering to send swordsmen after him. Just shoot him. I think that's the best way to play it, because you got the Jade Wizard to knock him off his feet if you need to slow him down. But frankly, with these guys taking damage, the balance of power shifts, and army losses hit. And that is game. But yeah, pretty fantastic. Great to see this. Empire Knights, 185 kills. Old Dwarf Gryphites, 247. Just amazing use of cavalry. But amazingly, some of the swordsmen actually did a fine job, as did the spearmen. You know, these guys did well. This was just beautifully used. You know, everything had its place, and everything did well. It was all utilized very well. A few times where it was a little bit scary. Having the sort of knights surrounded, but luckily they had enough mass. That damage negation from the Archlector did just keep them in the fight enough to be able to escape time and time again. So it was really impressive. And the Jade Wizard being able to, you know, fix any damage, you know, stop any lasting damage from accruing. It was pretty great. It was real textbook. But also it is great to see a high elf army that just has decided, you know what, I can't compete with the Empire with elite troops. They're just going to get shot. So he went super wide. So this is a brilliant army for dealing with the Empire, but he just didn't have enough answers to all the ridiculous amount of cavalry. He needed something in here that could deal with the cavalry, you know, on their own terms. Just some knights, even if just silver helms, to help, you know, bog stuff down, something with a bit of mass. Because, I mean, you know, these units, all the infantry is great against the Empire Knights. You know, having the anti-large and the anti-armor, a mixture of the two, wonderful. You can get a lot of damage done. But yeah, you've got to have something with mass. You've got to be able to stop those knights from escaping constantly. Because frankly, you know, an Empire player with enough micros is going to be able to keep these guys safe. You need to be able to get them stuck somehow. So it's tough. It's very tough. But this is great. This is a great solution to, you know, the sort of... I'm not sure if it's the meta anymore for the Empire, but the trend of actually bringing artillery. Because obviously artillery, a lot better than it was, you know, in the last patch. So it's great to see. So guys, I think I've waffled on enough. This has been a long one. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.